2020 was a crazy year.
Okay, so you went into urgent care and then you switched to the administrative role this as of October?
As
Or
of end of August. I
okay, so were you
took
working
about
in
a...
the urgent care like through those full 4 years? Is that where you were in urgent care? Wow, really?
Yeah, I had a partner to begin with, and then she got pregnant, and so she went on maternity leave and just never came back. And then I never got a partner. And so I was by myself for 2020 until I left. I got students all the time from Intelitech.
Really?
I never got another partner though. Yeah, and so and then my boss had left, and so I pretty much was running the urgent care from 2020 to when I left. So I have no idea how they're doing. I hear it's like a sinking ship. Prayers to them, whatever. But I kind of called it all. I think your managers and like CFOs and a lot of like even payroll people in HR play a big role, and a lot retired 2020. And then after that, it kind of was just a downhill. It was kind of really weird to see, and it's unfortunate to see because I really did love the company that I worked for. I really thought I was going to like die by them in a sense. Like they were great. And then as soon as a few people that were really important left, you seen the shift, and it was a negative shift, and it's really unfortunate when you're a part of that company, and that's kind of why I felt like I had to leave. And I know I didn't want to do direct patient care because I was just very burnt out. And because I was like doing 12, 13-hour days by myself, seeing 20 minimum, 80 maximum a day in a 12.
Patients?
Yeah, by myself with one other provider.
Okay. How different is it from working in like a hospital setting in a clinical setting? So like, like
I've never worked in a hospital, so I couldn't tell you.
Is it similar to working in a clinic? Like a doctor's office?
No.
Okay, so in urgent care, what's the difference between urgent care and a hospital?
So, I would say we usually get the lower level stuff, just like your sprains, your small lacerations, your broken bones, pneumonia, everything like that, COVID. And that's what I was kind of talking about when I brought up the deaths. Like, it's really unfortunate. A lot of people, again, in 2020, were very afraid to go to emergency rooms because of COVID, when they had COVID and they should have been there. And people are also afraid just because of ER bills, everything like that. They don't want to pay for it. And a lot of people didn't believe in COVID. So they're like, this is just a bad case of pneumonia. But unfortunately, the man that had died, that passed away in one of our rooms, he was elderly. It was COVID. And
he died in one of the rooms?
So when we would have people check in, we would just have you wait in your cars, and then we would call you in when it was your turn, so just to minimize the exposure. And his daughter had checked him in, and so we had not seen what he looked like at all. My receptionist was really good on triaging, in a sense of just being aware of how bad their wheezing is, how bad their breathing is, just how they look right away. And so she wasn't there to see him, or else she would have said something. She was there for at least like 8 years. She was there double my time. And so it was his time to get called back, and he was like yellow already, like gray almost. And brought him back. And then I think when the pulse ox was on him, his oxygen was in like the 60s. It was like 67. And then... Yeah, passed away.
Wow.
A couple minutes later. And then I had a elderly lady. So then again, urgent care, we're first responders to anything that happens on the property. And what kind of irritates me about that is that we were filled with MDs, and at the time it was just one MA, me, and a PA, my provider that I had that day. And an elderly woman I don't know if she had hit the automatic door or if she just tripped or what happened, but had fell back and hit her head on the sidewalk. And by the time they had alerted us and we ran out, she was already like foaming at the mouth. And we don't have, forgive me, I could not tell you what it is, but the tube that you put down their throat to open it up.
Innovation tube?
Yes. Thank you. Did not have one. And we also did not have anything to suction it out. So we literally had gloves pulling this out of this woman's mouth while I was doing that. Not even a volunteer. He was a state patrolman there for a work comp. And he was already starting CPR while I was doing that, and my PA was getting the electrodes on her so we could shock her. And did that, nothing. I switched on to CPR. I look up, and there's an MD there just looking. Not stepping in, just looking, while me and a state patrolman and my PA and another MA from work comp are trying to keep this woman alive. And she passes away on that front little door. And everyone from Parkview, because we were a 3-level clinic. Parkview was on top, we were in the middle, and then imaging was on the bottom. And MDs, nurses, everyone around, and we were the only ones to be helping. And I thought that was ridiculous. And that was my turning point there, to where I just started having resentment for that job. And it just kind of started being downhill from there. To say, like, patient-wise, like, there was people actively having heart attacks coming in. We had people, again, in COPD exacerbation. We almost lost a woman there. We had people having seizures in the lobby, and they were there for seizures that had, I think she said, like 3 or 4 that day already. Should not have been in urgent care. Definitely should have been in ER, but people just don't want to go to the ER anymore. So we were almost like a freaking ER, but not ER equipped. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We were getting all the same patients, but not having anything similar. And some people thought we were the emergency room. And so it's really hard to go about how do we inform the public of the difference of an urgent care versus an ER, although we know people think we have CT, MRI, everything like that. Like, people don't understand the limitations of what an urgent care has. Like, yes, we can suture you. Yes, we can put you in orthoglass. It's not the same as a cast, though, and people don't realize that. Like, the public is not educated enough sometimes to even know the difference. You know what I mean? Between an orthoglass splint and a brace, and then a cast.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Wow, that was great. That was a great description. I didn't know any of that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's